Hey everyone, I'm Zain Baig, this is Auto Group, and this is the 2009 Lexus ES350. This is my personal car. I've done a whole review on this a couple months back, basically when the channel started. This is the 1-year anniversary of Auto Group, so we had to make this video extra special and nice and long. So that is the 2019 Lexus ES350 F Sport. This car is $53,000, and my car, fully loaded, would be about $42,000 or $43,000 back in 2009. That car is 10 years old. These cars are exactly 10 years apart, and they have the same 3.5 liter V6. That car makes 272 horsepower. Let's go ahead and look at that car first before I show you all about the new one. So this is the interior of the 2009 Lexus ES350, and as you can see, the material usage is actually fantastic for this price point. This isn't a fully loaded one that you could get at the time. That still had the panoramic roof and the 300 watt Mark Levinson audio system. So this car, as you can see, look, it has beautiful leather stitch materials, very nice and squishy over here, soft touch over here even, and even at the top it's all soft touch, which is fantastic. And then even in the places where the door closes, it's still a soft touch continued. And then at the bottom, this little shelf, which is normally plastic, is soft touch, which is absolutely fantastic because this still isn't the GS. Soft touch materials continue on the top, especially over here. Very nice, especially for that time. My only complaints for those pieces are over here where it's plastic and back here, or else, you know, the fantastic materials continue with wood and leather on the steering wheel, nice leather in the armrest, leather seats, full leather upholstery. It looks fantastic for sure. Excellent interior for the 2009 Lexus ES350. Now this is basically my driving position, and I'm 6'2". Let me show you how I fit in the back of this car. As you can see, I fit pretty well, even though this is not the newer platform for the new ES, which is shared with the Avalon. This is still when it was based on the Camry, and I have quite excellent legroom back here. Soft touch materials still continue. This beautiful leather piece is even bigger than the front. Wood inlays over here. Even inside, for this little coin holder thingy pocket, it's all soft touch leather. That's fantastic. Down here there's soft touch even. You might think some cars don't carry over that, but Lexus is not gonna mess with that type of stuff. You even get these little like appliques on the door sill, which make it look extra premium and nice. So this car makes 272 horsepower, and that made it only from 2007 to 2009. Then for the 2010 facelift for the ES, which was still the same car, same engine, maybe because of the octane decrease for the 2010 facelift, it made a little less power. It made 268, which is, oh wow, big deal, 4 horsepower. But we're gonna have to move on to the new Lexus ES 10 years later. Let's see how much more power they have. This is the 2019 Lexus ES350 F Sport, and in this car, as you can see, the color is the atomic silver with LED headlights in front, these big 19-inch black wheels, and that F Sport badge with a black interior. Super exquisite. $53,000, way more expensive than my car. This car is a bit different. As you can see, the styling of the two cars is totally different. Let me show you right now. At the front of the Lexus, it has the big black mesh grille, as this is the F Sport. Normally you would get some vertical lines, but this one looks absolutely beautiful in this trim with atomic silver. Normally it isn't my favorite color, atomic silver for sure, but in this car it actually works really well. And I love the LED fishhook lights that they have, and these have openings in them, these little intake pieces, which is actually really nice. And this car is also based on the Toyota Avalon. So as you can see, it doesn't have that crazy big grille. Looks very nice and subtle. Even compared to the LS, the grille is shorter, and it creates a very beautiful look. One of the coolest things about this grille is the fact that normally on Lexus cars, where this tip ends is where the grille continues. And I would imagine that this car would have looked horrible if the grille was that big. You know, it would look so oversized for the car's size relative to its body mass. Just like the current generation, the 2018 ES, right before this one, had it was a bit too big on the front end, but this is perfect. I love how they have that touch where it doesn't finish and the little edging of the dark chrome continues over it. That is gorgeous. Of course, the sign for radar, cruise control, and all these pre-collision systems is the fact that this car has this little plastic piece above the emblem for the car, meaning it has all the housings for the radars behind that, which is beautiful. Anyways, looking at the front of my car, obviously it's down on some things. It doesn't have LED headlights, right? It doesn't have those cool intakes that car has. It's not blacked out at all, right? And it's a little bit taller, and it's a little bit more I don't know what's the word. Like, you know, when you're looking at a widescreen format on TV, how it's all stretched out, kind of like that. It has that effect. The car is very, very good looking, but some people obviously might want that as their Lexus ES. Some people might want this. I love both of them, but I don't think the front wins me over to the point where I can say that this is bad. Coming over to the back is where things completely change though. In the rear, the Lexus ES350 F Sport trim, specifically with this spoiler, looks absolutely stunning. Like, I can't even tell that this car is a descendant of my car. That is a good looking rear end as well. But this car just takes it to a whole nother level. Like, this is entering GS and LS territory in terms of beauty. The IS is a bit slacking right now. They gotta really update that car. Anyways, let's now talk about performance in this car. Looking at the dual exhaust outputs, they look so beautiful, and it's actually an exhaust pipe behind both of them, which is really nice. And also the lower diffuser is beautiful. It's nice and painted, looks very, very good. F Sport badges are of course everywhere. Let me tell you about the performance in this car. The current generation Camry's 3.5 liter V6 is the same 3.5 liter V6 found in my 2009 Lexus ES350. This car has the exact same one from the Camry, Avalon, and the old ES, but the new Camry and Avalon make a 301 horsepower. So you might be like, okay, the Lexus ES is probably gonna have a little bit of upgrade, so it doesn't feel too similar. Yes, they did do an upgrade, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared. This car makes 302 horsepower. One more horsepower than the Camry and Avalon. What you can do with that 1 horsepower is that you can brag to people who don't know much about cars at all and say that, hey, my car has more horsepower than a Camry and Avalon, but it's the same amount. But keep in mind that this is Lexus. The tuning is different. The transmission may feel different in shifting. The car's suspension is different. Everything as a whole makes a Lexus product 10 times better than a Toyota product, except in terms of reliability. Those are, you know, it's the same company, same parts. But you can't go wrong with buying this car over an Avalon or a Camry. You're not gonna feel like it's the same car. It's a totally separate car. This does have a front wheel drive drivetrain, but what's interesting in the back is that you can't really see it because this is obviously the black interior, but it has a huge hump, which is weird because you don't see that in front wheel drive cars. Rumor has it that the ES will soon get all wheel drive, and another rumor has it that the GS will go out of production. But it only went out of production in Europe, and that's because it was supposed to be replaced by this ES because it wasn't selling comparatively to the big Autobahn missiles like the E-Class, BMW 5 Series, and the Audi A6. Now we're in the interior of the 2019 Lexus ES350 F Sport, and it is a fantastic place to be. First of all, starting with the door panels, you have a lot of different materials in this car. You have this metal trim for the F Sport, and it's real metal, and it's inspired by some sort of sword design from Japan, which is really cool. You do have soft touch materials even at the top, but over here where it's supposed to be nice and soft touch, it's this weird scratchy plastic that the finishing isn't even that good on it. And it's just, you know, but besides that, you got nice leather pieces over here, nice leather over here, very, very nice. You got the Mark Levinson speaker over here. It has, I've heard 17 speakers and 1,000 watts of power. That is absolutely fantastic. And this has 3 stage memory seats, which is really good for this car. Also, it has the LC500 door handles, which is great. A couple of bad things are these weird plastic pieces don't really line up. Like, this does not line up with the second piece and not with the third piece. It just creates this odd design that I really don't want for a car of $53,000. But this now has electric power assisted steering wheel. My car has hydraulic power assisted steering wheel. It has this beautiful clock, full LCD gauge cluster as well, an awesome navigation system in the middle. Well, let me just, yeah, there we go, boom. It's so pretty, very, very nice looking. And this is the black interior. I like this black interior a lot. Anyways, you can change obviously the different modes, so it goes into sport and then sport plus, which is beautiful. And then you can also go into eco, normal, and then there's also a custom setting that you can choose. There's traction control on and off over there. Beautiful black steering wheel with nice perforation of the leather. Obviously, if you choose the luxury trim, you will get wood over here and down here. These are new look seats. This is not leather, and that is the reason because in F Sport trims, they mostly go with new look. And it has a bottom connected pedal, way different from my car in terms of those features. 302 horsepower. That's 30 more horsepower than that car as well. And let me show you how I fit in the back. This is about my position now. Let's take a look. So now I'm in the back seat of the new ES, and as you can tell, I have much more legroom. but it's still a little low on foot space. If you have the luxury trim, you can probably fit in better than this trim, because it's not gonna have those big bucket seats. Anyways, I think it's time to go on the drive, and if we have forgot any features, we'll just cover them when we come back. So now we're driving the Lexus ES350 2019 with the F Sport package, and I'm already in a Sport Plus because I never really noticed any difference between these modes. But let's just see. I think this car has like one of those induction sound thingies, so that should be pretty good. And that the new gauge cluster looks absolutely beautiful. A 12.3-inch display that's in some of Lexus's other products. It's really quiet, very quiet. Like, you could barely hear the engine. And it's funny because you can hear the LS500's engine quite a bit even without the F Sport package. And this car feels on the level of the LS500, which is funny. And this car has a very sophisticated setup in terms of suspension. It has the suspension straight out of the LC500, which is the adaptive variable suspension. And what that can do is that can change up the relations of the suspension from the car's mode in a very unique way that's unique to Lexus specifically. And that means it could be a very, very comfortable car, or it could ride a little bit harder so you can corner better. Now, this car does actually have paddle shifters, which is very unique. An ES has never ever had paddle shifters before. Wow, it actually has the direct shift transmission, and it's not a fake one either. It's the real deal, unlike the Avalon and Camry. So it feels like the GS, which is awesome. Wow, that is incredible. Like, in terms of cornering and everything, it's so different from any other ES I've driven. I've driven 3 different generations of the ES besides this one: the 2001 ES300, the 2018 ES350, and my 2009 ES350. But this 2019 ES350 drives like in such a unique way. It's incredible. We drive mostly performance cars on this road. It definitely does have a little bit of induction sound, and it sounds really, really good because of that. I love that. Wow, and the steering is nice and flat, and then it pulls really, really hard. Because of the suspension tuning, you can't really feel that this car is front wheel drive even when you get on it. And obviously we still have those goodies on, like traction control and stuff. But in Sport Plus, this car drives awesome. Now let's try out normal. Normal, the gauge cluster gets nice and subdued. It goes mostly dark, which is very nice, very pretty. And then still the steering weighs up nicely. But it feels very, very different, like a whole class above from the Avalon that we also reviewed. It's just incredible how these cars can really, really change up the way they drive and stuff. This car is a bit under-tired, definitely, you can tell. But still, it's so, wow, the car itself is incredibly impressive, and it's to the point where you can almost compare this to the E-Class and 5 Series, which is something that you can't do normally with an ES because it is a front-wheel drive car with not as much power, not as much of those cool features. But I mean, just, I never thought that it would be so sophisticated to drive. Literally right before this review, that it would drive this good and so, I don't know how to describe this, but it feels a couple of miles above what I was expecting out of this car. And why I wasn't expecting so much is because the LS500 let me down quite a bit with its weird ride quality. The engine makes too much noise. But this car, I feel like it's almost what they did a couple things wrong in the new LS, they fixed for the lower class car. and it feels awesome. Overall, the time with both the 2009 and 2019 Lexus ES has been certainly fantastic. This car is on a whole class above from the old ES and even the 2018 ES. It feels very, very sophisticated, and this feels to me better than driving the LS500, which is incredible. I never thought I would say that, but this car for $53,000 with the F Sport package is fantastic. You can barely feel that this is a front-wheel drive car. It has no torque steer, very nice and stiff steering feel, very crisp as well, and I love it with the F Sport package, the one that we particularly tested. Fully loaded with the adaptive variable suspension, navigation, Mark Levinson, 1000 watts, 17 speaker. That's awesome. Great car overall. I really enjoyed the time with this car. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Auto Group. Make sure to like and subscribe for weekly videos, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Special thanks to Art Cool at McGrath Lexus of Westmont for providing this vehicle. See y'all later. जबरदस्त काम कर रही हूँ। अच्छा। It's being done for PTI. Oh. Just imagine that. कितनी खूबसूरत बनाई है।
मतलब कैमरे में देख रही हूँ, जहाँ मुझे कुछ नजर नहीं आ रहा।
नहीं, शायद कैमरे में तो कुछ भी नहीं नजर आ रहा
है।
हाँ, उसमें आने लग रहा है, पता नहीं कोई चेस फिल्म सीन का फिल्म आ रहा है। हाँ, मजा आता है वैसी चीजें करने में। दूसरे वाले इसमें जा रहे हैं शायद।
Why?
क्योंकि इसी में फिल्म आते हैं।
अच्छा। पीछे कहीं वो फर्नीचर की दुकान होती है।
ये
वो कहाँ है?
फर्नीचर की दुकान तुमने कहाँ देखी?
किसी वीडियो में थी।
कितनी प्यारी लग रही है ये गाड़ी। अपन तो पागल ही हो गया अभी देख के। उसके बाद तुम न्यू मोड़ देना और फिर हमें बोलेगा हाँ ये है ना, थोड़ा और दूर से, बस वो गाड़ी ना है।
हवा बहुत है।
अच्छा,
ऊंचा बोलना पड़ेगा।
ओके, ऑन है।
हाँ।
But since this is the 1-year anniversary of Auto Group, this has to be a special video. So this 10 years later is the 2019. नहीं, फिर से आओ। This is the 1-year anniversary of Auto Group, so we have to make this video extra special. So that is the 2019 Lexus. तुमने मोड़ा ही नहीं क्या? Sorry. Let's see, हमारे यहाँ तक कोई ट्रैफिक है? हाँ, अब नहीं। अब हम अंदर का दिखाते हैं ना, सब कुछ हम बचाते हैं इसका, और यहीं से बैठ के बता देगा। हाँ ये so that's fantastic. बहुत दफ़ा fantastic हो गया, so that's great. For some reason maybe because of the octane क्या होता है वो word decrease है ना। अब फिर से फ्रंट पे आ जाएंगे, उधर आ जाना। Now this is the
शादो
अच्छा तो oh, it sounds really good. My height, you can still perfectly fit him, even better than I'm fitting right now if you have the leg बंद कर दो, सही रिकॉर्ड पे। अच्छा, in the front Now how is it in the back? शायद तुम्हें कुछ बताना पीछे कैसी है?